The girl in the wreckage. The sky was dark. Clouds moved like smoke. The earth was silent, too silent. Buildings were broken. Roads were cracked, no birds, no animals. Just dust and dead metal. Raisin, a lone human soldier, walked through the wreckage of an old science base. His boots made soft sounds on the ashes. His eyes moved fast. He checked corners. He had been trained for war, for danger. But this place felt different. His mission was simple: enter the destroyed lab, recover any data left, and leave. But deep in his mind, something didn't feel right. The base was abandoned for years. Why now? Why send him? Raisin entered the broken main gate. Wires hung from the ceiling. Lights flickered. The air smelled like rust and chemicals. Then he heard it, a sound soft, weak, like a whisper. A human whisper. He froze. He turned slowly toward the sound. A metal door was half broken, bent outward like something escaped from inside. Raisin raised his weapon and moved forward. He pushed the door gently. Inside was darkness. He turned on his wrist light. The beam hit the corner of the room. There she was, a girl, curled in a corner. Her clothes were torn, dirty. Her skin pale, hair long and tangled. Her eyes wide and glowing, not like normal human eyes. They were gold. She looked at him. She tried to move back, but there was no space. Raisin lowered his weapon. He took one step forward. She whispered with a shaky voice, "Don't touch me, human. I'm too dirty." But as he reached out his hand, she grabbed it and never let go. Raisin looked down at her hand. It was small, cold, shaking, but firm. She didn't want him to leave. He knelt beside her. "It's okay," he said gently. "I'm not here to hurt you." She didn't answer. Her eyes watched him closely, like a scared animal. But her grip didn't loosen. Raisin opened his backpack and gave her a small water pack. She took it with both hands and drank fast, like she hadn't tasted water in days. "What's your name?" he asked. She didn't speak. Raisin looked around the room. There were strange machines, broken glass pods, and burnt files. On one wall, written in red ink, were the words, "Subject 9, do not wake." He looked back at the girl. "Subject 9?" he whispered to himself. Suddenly, the control panel beside him blinked. Old data started downloading automatically. Raisin watched as files opened. Video logs, test results, DNA scans. One video played by itself. A scientist appeared, talking fast. "Subject 9 shows unstable growth. Alien DNA is rejecting human merge. She must be destroyed before it's too late." Raisin looked at the girl again. She had fallen asleep while sitting. Her hand still held his. She wasn't just a human. She was something else, something made, something left behind. Raisin stood up and checked the scanner. A soft beep sounded, movement detected nearby. Maybe rats. Maybe worse. He gently lifted the girl in his arms. She was light, bones and skin. He moved out of the lab, careful with every step. As he reached outside, the wind blew harder. He looked up. The sky was changing. Black clouds circled above. A strange light flashed in the distance. Not lightning. Something was coming. He walked fast toward the hills. There was an old, safe house nearby. He had to keep her safe. She moved a little in his arms and whispered again, eyes half closed. "Why? Did you come back?" Raisin didn't understand. "What do you mean?" She said nothing more. They reached a small underground bunker. He placed her on the old mattress and covered her with a blanket. He sat beside her, staring. Who was she? What had the lab done to her? Why was she still alive? The computer on the wall turned on by itself. A cold robotic voice said, "Subject 9 is still alive. Initiating Protocol Black." Raisin stood up fast. His heart raced. He had no idea what Protocol Black was, but it didn't sound good. Outside he heard a soft hum, like drones flying. He looked down at the girl. She was still holding his hand, even in sleep. She wouldn't let go. The wind outside howled like a ghost. Inside the small bunker, silence filled the room. The girl was still asleep, her hand wrapped tightly around Raisin's. Raisin sat by her side, staring at the cracked ceiling. The bunker lights flickered. His mind raced. He had seen soldiers die, machines turn against men. But he had never seen eyes like hers. Golden, not human. He pulled out the portable scanner from his backpack and held it near her arm. The screen flashed. Unknown DNA signature. Classified. Clearance denied. Denied? Even his top-level access couldn't open her files? That meant only one thing. She was part of something buried deep. Something no one was supposed to know. Raisin stood up and walked to the corner where the old bunker computer had come alive. Its screen was still glowing, showing only one line. Subject 9, emergency protocol triggered. He tried to shut it down, but the system was locked. Someone or something was watching. Suddenly the girl coughed. A soft sound. Raisin turned quickly. She opened her eyes, blinking like she was waking from a nightmare. "You're safe now," he said softly. She sat up slowly, looking around. "Where am I?" "Underground? An old safe house? You're okay?" "I'm Raisin," he said, trying to keep his voice calm. "I found you in the lab." She looked at him with confusion. "Why? What do you mean? Why did you take me? They left me there? Locked me in?" "Even my creators ran away." Her voice cracked. "They said I was broken," Raisin paused, then said quietly, "You're not broken. You're breathing. You're alive." "That means something." She looked away. There was silence again. Then she whispered, "I wasn't supposed to exist. They called me an accident, a failure. They said I was part of a peace experiment. They tried to mix alien and human. But I didn't come out right." Raisin stepped closer. "What's your name?" She shook her head. "I don't have one, just a number." "Subject 9?" he asked. She nodded. "There were 12 of us. I think I'm the only one left." Raisin felt something twist inside him. 12 children made in a lab, tested like weapons. And now only one remained. Before he could speak again, a sharp beeping sound came from his wrist. Motion detected. 3. Life forms, approaching fast. He grabbed his weapon. The girl's eyes widened in fear. "They found me." "Who?" Raisin asked, ready for a fight. "The ones they send to erase mistakes." Outside, the sound of machines echoed through the hills. Heavy footsteps, metal grinding. Raisin quickly helped her stand. She was still weak, but she could walk. "We have to move," he said. As they reached the door, she stopped and looked at him. "If they catch me, they won't just kill me," she said. "They'll erase everything, even memories of me." "That's what they do." Raisin didn't answer. He opened the door and led her out into the night. The sky had turned blood red. A storm was building, wild and strange. They ran into the hills, hiding between rocks and broken roads. The sound of drones followed them, searching, scanning. Behind them, the bunker exploded. Flames lit the dark like lightning. The girl fell to her knees. Raisin picked her up again. "Why are you helping me?" she asked. Raisin didn't know how to answer. Maybe because she reminded him of something lost, something innocent. Maybe because the world had done enough killing, or maybe because when she held his hand, he didn't feel alone. They kept moving. At sunrise, they reached the edge of the city ruins. Broken towers stood like giants in the fog. "We'll hide there," Raisin said. As they entered the ruins, a soft voice echoed from an old speaker hidden in the wall. "Subject 9 located. Order. Terminate on sight." The girl stopped. She looked straight ahead. Her golden eyes lit up. And for the first time, Raisin saw a different side of her. A power hiding inside. She whispered, "I won't run anymore." The city ruins were quiet, too. Quiet. Raisin and Subject 9 moved between broken walls and fallen steel. The early sun tried to shine, but thick smoke filled the air. Fires still burned in old buildings. The ghosts of war were everywhere. Subject 9 walked slowly. Her legs were shaking, but her golden eyes were sharp. She didn't ask where they were going. She didn't ask why they were running. She just followed Raisin. He didn't say much either. But inside, his mind was racing. She had power. Something hidden deep inside her. Something she didn't fully understand. And now someone wanted that power gone. Forever. They reached a broken train station and went underground. Raisin closed the metal door behind them. It was dark and damp, water dripped from the ceiling. A few rats ran across the floor. Raisin checked his tracker. No signals, but they were being hunted. He could feel it. Subject 9 sat against the wall. Her arms hugged her knees. Raisin sat across from her. "You okay?" he asked. She nodded. Then she whispered, "They'll find us." "They always do." "Not if I stop them first," Raisin said. She looked at him, unsure. "Why?" She asked, "Why are you risking your life for me?" Raisin paused. He thought about the war, about all the people he had lost, about the lies his commanders had told him, and then he said something he hadn't told anyone in years. "My sister," he said quietly. "She was like you." Subject 9 blinked. "Like me?" Raisin nodded. "Taken when she was 9, they said she died. But I never saw her body. No funeral, just silence. She had bright eyes, curious, always smiling." He looked up at Subject 9. She had golden eyes, too. A long pause. Subject 9's lips trembled. "What was her name?" She asked, double quote CLAR, a dot double quote. The silence grew colder. Subject 9 stood up slowly. Her hands were shaking. "My real name," she said in a small voice, "was Ilara." Raisin stood too. He couldn't breathe. "You're lying," he said. "That's not possible." But she wasn't lying. She didn't have to. Her eyes were full of tears. "I remember the day they took me. You tried to stop them. You were so small, but brave." Raisin stepped back. His world spun. "You're my sister?" Before she could answer, an alarm blared on his wrist. Target locked. "Incoming strike squad, 60 seconds. No time." Raisin shouted. He grabbed Ilara's hand, still thin, still cold, and ran above them. The sky exploded. Drones dropped from ships like metal insects. They fired beams that turned stone into dust. The two ran through the ruins. Walls fell. Buildings shook. The air burned. Suddenly, a black-armored soldier dropped in front of them. His helmet was round. A red light blinked where his eyes should be. "Subject 9, the voice said. "You are marked for elimination. Do not resist." Ilara stepped behind Raisin. Raisin raised his weapon. "You'll have to go through me." The soldier paused. Then he said something unexpected. "Raisin Cade, identification confirmed." The helmet opened. Raisin froze. It was Drell, his old teammate, his best friend. "You?" Raisin whispered. "I came to find you," Drell said. "They said you were dead." "I should ask the same," Raisin growled. "Why are you working for them?" "I didn't have a choice," Drell said. "They showed me what she really is." "She's my sister," Raisin said, stepping closer. "She's not your sister anymore," Drell said coldly. "She's a weapon." Ilara's hand sparked. A small glow formed in her palm. Not fire, not light, but something alive. "She's not a weapon," Raisin said. "She's a person." Drell aimed his rifle. "Then why does she have the power to destroy?" "A city?" Raisin didn't move. "Because your people made her that way." Ilara looked at Drell. Her voice was soft. "Please. I don't want to hurt anyone." For a moment, Drell's eyes softened. Then boom, a blast hit the wall behind them. More soldiers arrived. Drell looked back at Raisin. "Run," he said. "I'll give you 30 seconds. After that, I can't." "Help." Raisin pulled Ilara and sprinted through the smoke. As they escaped, Drell's voice echoed in his ear. "They're not afraid of what she is now. They're afraid of what she might become." The tunnel was narrow, cold, and full of echoes. Raisin held a flashlight in one hand, Ilara's hand in the other. Behind them, the world was burning. Above them, drones circled like vultures, but down here, there was silence. They had climbed through an old maintenance hatch in the ruins. It led them deeper than any map Raisin had seen. Pipes ran along the walls. Strange symbols were scratched into the stone. Ilara walked quietly beside him. She looked different now, stronger, still, tired but more alive than before. "How far does this tunnel go?" she asked. "I don't know," Raisin said, "but it's better than up there." As they walked, the air changed. It grew warmer. There was a faint light ahead, not electric. Not fire. It glowed green. They stepped into a massive space. Reyson froze. It was a city. An underground city hidden for decades. Buildings carved from rock, bridges made of old metal, glowing moss lit the streets. Strange machines stood still as if waiting to wake. Alara's eyes widened. I know this place. You've been here? Raisin asked. No, but I saw it. In dreams, in memories that weren't mine. As they moved through the quiet streets, shadows watched them from windows. Then, slowly, people stepped out, not soldiers, not drones, not fully human. Some had strange eyes. Some had wires on their skin. Others moved like ghosts. Alara stood still. One figure stepped forward. A tall man with gray skin and white hair. His voice was calm, deep. Alara, he said. She gasped. I know your voice. I was the first, he said. Subject 1. Raisin raised his weapon. What is this place? The man looked at him. This is Hollow Eden, the last place where the experiments live. More figures stepped forward, quiet, peaceful. They said I was the only one left. Alara whispered. They lied, Subject 1 said, like they always do. Raisin lowered his weapon. Subject 1 walked closer. You were the key, Alara, the only one who could survive the merge. The only one who kept her soul. Alara looked confused. Then why did they lock me away? Because you were not controllable, he said. You didn't follow their rules. You felt too much. Raisin stepped forward. What do you want from her? We want her to choose, Subject 1 said. To lead or to leave. The war is coming underground now. We can't stay hidden forever. Suddenly alarms rang. A projection lit the sky above the underground dome, a hologram. Broadcasting from above, a general's voice boomed. To all citizens hiding Subject 9, hand her over or face complete erasure. You have 1 hour. The people of Hollow Eden began to panic. Elar looked around. Families, children, some injured. All afraid. I can't let them be hurt because of me, she said. Raisin turned to her. We came here to hide. We don't have to fight. But they don't want me to hide, she said. They want me to disappear. Subject 1 placed a hand on her shoulder. You have power, Alara, but your heart. That's what makes you dangerous to them. Raisin spoke quietly. What are you going to do? She looked at the hologram, then back at Raisin. I'm done running. She closed her eyes, and for the first time she reached inside herself. Light sparked around her. Symbols appeared in the air, ancient, alien, and human mixed together. The machines in the city woke up. Energy hummed through the ground. Subject 1 stepped back in awe. She's unlocking the network. Raisin looked at her, glowing, breathing. Alive, he had seen weapons, he had seen monsters, but this was hope. A final message flashed on every wall in the city. The hybrid queen has awakened. Alara opened her eyes. They want war, she said. Let's give them a reason to be afraid. The machines in Hollow Eden were awake. Their metal eyes blinked with green light. Ancient tech, forgotten for decades, now hummed with power, all because of her. Alara stood in the center of the dome. Her hands glowed with thin blue lines. Her breath was steady. Around her, the symbols hovered in the air like fireflies, but inside, she was shaking. I don't understand all of it, she said softly. Subject 1 stood nearby. You were never meant to understand. You were meant to obey, Raisin frowned. Then she's more human than any of you. Alara looked at him. For a moment, her fear faded, but just then, something strange happened. The lights in the city blinked twice. Then again, a rhythm, a code. Subject 1 stepped back. His face went pale. No, it's starting. What's starting? Raisin asked the betrayal code, he said. They buried it inside her, a final command. If she unlocks too much, it activates. Alara gasped. You mean they can control me? Subject 1 nodded. Not just control, erase. Raisin grabbed his weapon. How do we stop it? Before Subject 1 could answer, a loud sound echoed through the city. Footsteps. Heavy, familiar. A voice followed. Raisin! Raisin turned quickly. It was DRL. His old friend. The one who had let them escape. Raisin ran toward him. You made it? Drell smiled. Of course, I told you I'd find you again. But something felt wrong. His smile was too perfect. his eyes. Too calm. I brought help, Drell said from the tunnel behind him. 5 more soldiers stepped out. Clean uniforms, shiny weapons. Raisin stepped back. You lied to me, Drell nodded slowly. I had to. Do you know how much they offered for her? Elara stared at him. You said you were my brother's friend. I was, Drell said. But the world is dying, Elara. People are starving. Nations are falling, and you're a key. Whoever holds you rules. Raisin raised his weapon. Don't come closer. Drell pointed at Elara. You think you've unlocked power? That's just step 1. The real code inside you can shut down every machine, every even Earth's defense grid. Elara backed away. No, she whispered. That's not what I want. You don't get to choose anymore. Drell said coldly, then he pressed a button on his wrist. Elara screamed. Her body fell to her knees. Her hands shook violently. Symbols around her shattered like glass. The machines in the city powered down again. She clutched her head, crying out in pain. Raisin rushed to her side. Elara! Stay with me. Drell walked forward slowly. She's not human. She's a switch. Subject 1 tried to fight, but was shot instantly by one of Drell's soldiers. Raisin's eyes burned with rage. He turned toward Drell. You were family. No, Drell said, raising his weapon. I was a survivor. But before he could fire, Elara stood up. Her eyes were glowing brighter than ever before. Not gold, white, and in that moment, every screen in the city lit up. Her voice echoed. Not from her mouth, but from the machines. Override accepted. Betrayal code, disabled. Drell's soldiers froze. Their weapons dropped. Even Drell looked stunned. That's not possible. Elara looked at him. Calm now. You don't understand me. You never did. I was built to follow. But I chose to feel. She raised her hand, and a wave of energy pulsed out. It didn't burn. It didn't kill. But it pushed truth into every mind in the city. Images, memories, what was done to her. To all of them. And in Drell's eyes something cracked. Regret. Too late. Raisin stepped forward and knocked Drell to the ground. Elara stood above him. You tried to erase me, she said, but you forgot. Even code can rewrite itself later. Drell sat in a prison cell deep under Hollow Eden. The city machines were now fully awake. The people cheered for Elara, not as a weapon, not as a mistake, but as a leader. Raisin stood beside her. You okay? He asked. Elara smiled. Just a little. I think for the first time I am. But high above, far beyond the ruined cities. A satellite turned its eye toward them. And somewhere in a control room, a cold voice whispered, Plan B, begin. The city had gone quiet after the battle, after Drell's betrayal. After the machines woke up, everything fell into a strange stillness. Hollow Eden breathed like a sleeping beast, waiting for what came next. But deep inside one of its oldest chambers, Elara was dying, not her body, but her mind. She sat alone, legs crossed, eyes closed. Blue light moved softly across her skin. The machines buzzed gently around her, reading, scanning, learning. Raisin stood outside the glass room, watching. She had asked to be alone. Raisin's hand pressed against the glass. He didn't like waiting. A voice spoke behind him. She's not sick, said an old woman in a white robe. She's unlocking. Raisin turned. Unlocking what? Everything. The woman stepped beside him. She was one of the oldest hybrids, half machine, half organic. Once a top scientist in the surface war, now just another ghost hiding underground. She's reaching the core of her memory, the woman said. The last wall, the one they buried deep, even deeper than the betrayal code. Raisin frowned. What kind of memory needs to be buried that far? The woman didn't answer. Inside the chamber, Elara trembled. Her eyes opened, but she didn't see the room. She was back somewhere else. In her mind, she stood in a white hallway. Clean walls, no windows. Just the sound of boots and orders. She was a child, a girl in a white hospital gown, standing alone. Her hands were small. Her voice silent. Ahead, a woman in a lab coat argued with a man in military armor. She's too emotional, the woman said. She's perfect, the man replied. A perfect face, a human shell. They'll never know what she really is. The woman hesitated. We told the donors their child died. Because she did, the man said coldly. This one isn't her. Just her skin, her memories ... upgraded. Little. Ilara stood behind the glass, watching. Then the man leaned closer to the woman. You do understand, Doctor, he said. If this works, Earth won't need peace. It will own peace. Ilara's vision cracked. The hallway faded. She saw her face. Being built. Her memories. Being written. Her emotions. Simulated. And then, one memory hidden behind all the rest. The truth. A real girl. Brown hair. Bright laugh. Human. Her name was Ilara Cade. She died during an experiment. But they didn't want to lose the chance. So they copied her. She was an she was the copy, not a sister, not a girl. Just data and skin. Back in the chamber, Ilara screamed. The glass cracked. Raisin rushed inside. She was curled on the floor. Eyes glowing, crying. He held her tightly. I'm not real, she whispered. He froze. I'm not your sister, she said. The real Ilara died? I'm just a thing. Raisin didn't speak. The words hit hard. They were like knives. But then, he said something she didn't expect. You held my hand. She blinked. You cried, he said. You laughed. You were scared. You fought to protect others. Maybe you weren't born like Ilara, but you became her. He held her tighter. And maybe that's what makes you more real than anyone else. She looked up. Her eyes still glowing, but softer now. Hope returned. Just a little later that night, Ilara sat outside the city dome, looking at the false stars above. Raisin joined her. Do you think people can forgive someone who was never meant to exist? She asked. Raisin looked at the sky. I think people forgive monsters every day. But they forget heroes? She smiled. A small sound came from her wrist. A message. One word. Run. Before they could react, the mountain shook. Sirens screamed. Subject One's voice echoed through the city. We are breached. They found us. Everyone. Evacuate? Raisin and Ilara stood. Ilara looked back at Hollow Eden, her first home, her first truth. Maybe I was made for war, she said. Raisin loaded his weapon. Then let's finish it. Smoke rose from the mountains. The earth shook beneath Hollow Eden, above the city. Black ships filled the sky like vultures. They blocked the sun. Their weapons glowed red, ready to erase everything. Inside the city, people ran. Alarms screamed. But Ilara stood still. She looked up at the dark sky and did not blink. Raisin stood beside her. Dust covered his jacket. Blood stained his arm, but he didn't care. This is it, he said. Ilara nodded. They came for me, she said. But they'll leave with a lesson. 10 minutes earlier, Subject One handed Ilara a small silver cube. This holds your core command, he said. Your heart, your creation. If you give this to them, they'll stop hunting you. Ilara shook her head. No, she said. If they want it, they can come take it from my hands. Raisin stepped forward. Then we stand with you. Subject One smiled. Then maybe you're not a copy after all. Now the first strike hit the outer walls. Metal shattered. Towers fell. Soldiers in black armor dropped from the sky. Raisin fired first. The machines fired back all around them. War exploded. Fire, screams, light. But Ilara walked through it like a ghost. She stepped between broken walls. Drones flew past her, confused. Sensors failed to lock on. She wasn't invisible. She was unwritten. Inside the command ship, General Varric stood at the controls, watching the chaos. Send the signal, he said coldly. Wipe Hollow Eden from the map. But sir, the technician began. No mercy, Varric snapped. She's not a girl. She's the virus. But as he pressed the final button, the screen flickered. A face appeared. ALARA single quotes S. She stared into the general's eyes and she smiled. Hello, creator, she said. The ship's systems shut down. Lights went dark. And then everything turned white. Bello Raisin shielded his eyes as a wave of light swept across the battlefield. Soldiers froze. Machines stopped moving. The wind held its breath. In the center of it all, Ilara stood glowing, arms outstretched. Her body cracked with light, her skin breaking like glass, her voice echoing from the earth itself. I was made in silence, she said. I was raised in lies, but I will end in truth. Her eyes met Raisin's one last time. I remember you, she whispered, even if I was made to forget. You held my hand when no one else did. Raisin ran toward her. No, Elara, stop! But she shook her head. This is the final touch, she said. The code that ends war. The one they were too afraid to activate. Her hand reached out. He caught it, just like before. She smiled through tears. Don't touch me, human. I'm too dirty, she whispered, just like the first time they met. But she never let go. The light burst from her body, a silent wave. Machines collapsed. Like statues, the sky cleared. The ships fell. The war ended, not in blood, but in light. 1 week later, the world was still. Above the ruins of Hollow Eden, flowers began to grow. For the first time in years, birds flew overhead. Raisin stood alone at a quiet hilltop. Looking out. In his hand was the silver cube. It no longer glowed. He placed it under a stone. A marker. No name, just a single carved line. She held on, so we survive. He didn't cry, he just closed his eyes and remembered her hand.